Welcome to Tatsunari Toad Rider. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we will keep on this one. I see a green source. You didn't see the video I recorded earlier, but it was kind of one of those. We had a little bit of card advantage, and I was like, you know what? If we just hit a green source, we'll be good to go. And I don't know how we splice this video together, if I'm going to run, if we get, but anyway, you can imagine how it went if I was just needed a green source, and I'm happy to see a green source in a totally unrelated game. So let's go and lead off with Polluted Delta. I think that sounds like a good play. Yeah, we'll lead off with that, and then anything else, we'll pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Tatsunari Toad Rider, Soul-type Frog Enchantress, which is everything I needed in my life that I didn't know I needed in my life when they made this card, because that's some good stuff right there. We're playing, let's go ahead and crack Polluted Delta, and I guess we grab a black-green. Actually, no, we're going to grab Triome. That's perfect. I forget the Triomes exist, and that's such a nice thing to see sometimes when you're trying to figure out which dual source to grab, and you just grab the Tri-source, and it's always nice. So it's going to lead off with Tropical Island, and we cannot get down Tatsunari just yet, but we're going to go for Sylvan Library. That way we can get the card advantage going. And then anything else, we will pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Tatsunari. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, if you don't control a creature named Kimi, create Kimi, a legendary 3/3 black and green frog creature token with, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Then for a 2-mana activation, Tatsunari Toad Rider and target frog you control can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with flying or reach. And we'll cover our opponent's commander. And, ooh, so we run into Phyrexian Arena. I kind of like that. Let's go and go for Tatsunari. I like getting down Tatsunari. I feel like we've got some extra time to go for card advantage in hitting Phyrexian Arena and Sylvan Library with Tatsunari. Yes, sign me up. That sounds like a lot of fun. So we'll get the Sylvan Library trigger to go. And yes, we definitely want to use that ability. We don't have to be super aggressive on this one. So, you know what we'll probably end up doing is put Vampiric Tutor on top of the library, and we'll put Dryad on top of the library, because we're actually okay with both of those. So we do need to run into a land source sometime soon. So let's drop in Swamp. Let's drop in Tatsunari. And what we can do next turn is we can set up the Sylvan Library card draw. And then next turn we can at least go for Phyrexian Arena, and if we need to pay some life to kind of dig a little bit deeper to run into some lands, we can certainly do that. But I like getting down Tatsunari, so anything else, we will pass it over to our opponent. Playing it's Imoti, and I think that's how you say it, Imoti. Celebrant of Bounty. Cascade, and then spells you cast with mana value 6 or greater have Cascade. So sound the Simic Alarms, or at least the Snake Simic Alarms, because we kind of know what's... Let's get to that 6 converted mana cost. I'm excited to see how this plays out. And when did that commander come out? And let's see, I'm going to go over to Scryfall real quick. And that was with Commander Legends. Okay, so not too long ago. When was that? But there's so many sets now that it's hard to remember. Oh, this is 2020. Okay, there we go. They have so many sets now, it's hard to remember who or what came out when sometimes. And it's hard to keep up with everything. And especially... it's hard to keep up with when there's like a handful of cards that make it from a commander set to Magic Online. So it's not like if there's a brand new commander that came out in a non-release set, like a non-standard set, you're like, man, why has Jolt not built this commander yet? It's because it didn't release, or it releases like 6 months later, and I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about it. So anyway, so we cover those commanders. Let's go and drop in... I think we drop in Phyrexian Arena to get the card advantage going. We do know that it is Dryads on top, and then we know that... who else? It is... yeah, so this is going to be Phyrexian Arena. We'll probably might end up going from Prison in the Moon on Lotus Cobra. I mean, that's going to give him an extra land. I don't know. We'll see if we want to end up going for that with Lotus Cobra. And then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That allows you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play Commander online, they've got you covered. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, on your own little personal Soul-type frog, it is officially free time, so let's have some fun. Let's see what they cascade into. And that is control magic. Are you going to take our frog? Please don't take our frog. They took our frog. All right. And so I guess, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, we can actually go for Seal of Removal on our own frog to get it back. I think that sounds pretty good. Because I'd hate for them to get an enchantment and get their own Kimi. Or we can just Vampiric Tutor for a board wipe. And I think that might end up being pretty good. So we Vampiric Tutor for a board wipe. And then we've got, because that'll hit the reset button on them. I think I kind of like that. So we drop in, is there anything we want to, yeah, we don't really want to drop in a creature. We can drop in Argos Bloodfast and still keep up Vampiric 2. Yeah, I think that'll work out. So let's go and drop in Argos Bloodfast. And that way we can get some card advantage going. There's going to be a life gain, life loss for them. And then anything. Unfortunately, with the Vampiric Tutor, that's going to keep us on one land. But hopefully we can draw into an additional one. So anything else. And I guess technically, well, we'll just wait. We'll see what's going on. We'll see what they deploy out. But yeah, we're going to end up going for that Vampiric Tutor and go for Toxic Deluge, which should, yeah, we got it in there. So that should clear it up on our opponent. So, but yeah, it's free time. Let's have some fun. But yeah, this is Sultai Frogs and Sultai Frog Enchantress. And it's some just good stuff. I love it. All right, so we got Soul of the Harvest. And I'm digging this. Let's get down Oracle. This could be Void Winnower that's on top of their library. We definitely don't want to see that. Let's see how they decide to swing in. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking. I was talking about the Commander releases. Yeah, so if there's ever a Commander that comes out and you're like, man, I would love to see this. This looks like a fun Commander. Why has Jolt not built it yet? It's because it has not released on Magic Online, or they released it in a treasure pack like 6 months later, and I just, you know, I don't check it all the time. Let's get this popped out. There we go. Where's Toxic? There we go. I always get worried it's not in there, even though I see it on my little screen grab. So we're going to go for Toxic Deluge. Hopefully we run into a land drop on top of our normal draw outside of Phyrexian Arena. And, all right, so we run into Ancient Tomb. I'll take that. So let's drop in Ancient Tomb. And so we've got Toxic. Is there anything else that we would end up going for to maintain? We could try to Seal of Removal if we wanted to just kind of send Tatsunari back to our hand. And then on top of that, Toxic Deluge. I think I kind of like that because we still get the extra. Yeah, because we don't want a Seal of Removal on our opponent. Yeah, so let's do that. So let's go for the Seal of Removal. Let's crack Seal of Removal. And we're going to send Tatsunari back to our hand. There we go. Come on back here, Tatsunari. And let's go Toxic Deluge, because even if we swing in with Kimi, that's just still going to be running into a brick wall. And so we do need to pump it up to 6. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Make sure that is correct, and we're only looking at 1 mana. So we're going to go Toxic for 6, pay 1 life, or pay 6 life, and that's going to clear everybody off the board. And then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So we do know that Void Winnower is on top of their library, and so they will draw into that. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at the very least, knowing that Void Winnower is in their hand, they can't cast it just yet. We're pretty cool with that. And then we'll be able to at least roll out Tatsunari next turn, and we'll see exactly how we want to set this. All right, so we run into Bojuka Bog. Yeah, I actually kind of like that. So let's go Bojuka Bog on our opponent's graveyard. Actually, let's get down Tatsunari first. That way we don't, there's no funny business Lebowski, and we don't forget about it. So we go for Tatsunari. Let's go Bojuka Bog. Let's go and target our opponent's graveyard. Let's go and exile that graveyard, get rid of them. And then for 2 mana left, we've got Tatsunari, we've got Destiny Spinner. I think that sounds like a good plan. So we'll get Kimi onto the battlefield, get down Destiny Spinner, and then anything else we will pass the turn. So if they do end up rolling their commander out, at the very least, we've got Kasmina's Transmutation, and we've got Imprison in the Moon. So one of the good things about if Void Winnower does enter the battlefield, or come onto the battlefield, we've got 2 different removal sources to deal with it. Well, not 2 different ones, but we've got Imprison in the Moon, because you can't, let me make sure I'm looking at that correctly, and we do need to get rid of Tatyova. That's something we need to watch out for. So I'm going to type in Void Winnower real quick in the Scryfall. We can't cast spells with even converted mana cost. So now that we know that Void Winnower is hanging around out there, we do need to maintain Imprison in the Moon. That's something that we do need to kind of hold on to. What we can end up going for is either Kasmina's Transmutation on Tatyova, because I would like to leave up something to stop that Cascade ability. So if we can somehow get one of these one of these effects onto their commander, that'll stop the cascade action. If we do end up getting Doomwake Giant down, that'll really kind of get rid of people on their side of the battlefield. So we'll see what's going on. But at least right now, we've got reestablished after getting all that stuff. But we do want to take care of Tatyova, because that's some really nice card advantage. All right, so we run into Glittering Frost, and then we run into Grolnok. Then we go to our main phase. Okay, so how do we want to set this up? So we've got Doomwake Giant, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got Glittering Frost that we can end up going for. Because we do want to stop Tatyova. We need to do that. So let's go Kazmina's transmutation onto Tatyova. Yeah, we're cool with that. And we cannot get, unfortunately, we did not run into, is there any certain way that we can set this up? It adds an additional set of mana. Let's go Glittering Frost onto Bojuka Bog, because I think that still puts us into transmutation territory. That's going to be 1, 2, because that'll be like us making the land drop. So that's going to be 1 life gain. There we go. Pop our opponent for 1. Let's go for transmutation. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can't do everything. So let's go transmutation onto Tatyova. And then let's add blue mana to our mana pool. There we go. It's going to be 1 and then 2. So it's going to turn Tatyova into a 1/1 frog creature. There we go. And then let's go and push in with the entire crew. Got them swinging in, and then we do at least have an Argos Bloodfast activation to draw a card, and I think we'll end up going for that. So let's see if Tatyova blocks on this or not. If not, we're going to be able to get in for, that's going to be 5, that's going to be 8, and that'll drop them down to 29. And then let's go for the Bloodfast. That way, just in case we do run into a card advantage draw, not card advantage, but a land drop, we can make the land drop. So anything else, we will pass the turn to our opponent. So as far as Void Winnower Watch, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're actually 2 away from Void Winnower. As far as the next turn goes, we'll probably end up going for Enchantress Presence, because that is the one thing that we are missing on this board state, is having Enchantress card draw piece. And if you've never built Enchantress, if you're thinking about building Tatsunari, one of the things that you do need is, or one of the things that makes a deck like this so potent, is if you're running just a ton of enchantments, is making sure that you have an Enchantress piece. You know, something that allows you, yes, we will take that, Imoti, with Farseek. And so, yeah, you need a card draw piece. That's what really matters on that. So, and I think we are looking, actually, we can probably try to end up going for Doomwake Giant. I kind of like that. Yeah, so that's going to be Phyrexian Arena. We draw into another, ooh, we run into Frogify. Okay, so let's drop in, I'm kind of digging this. So if we end up going for Enchantress Presence, we go for Frogify onto Imoti. That's going to get rid of the Cascade. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They end up going for Void Winnower. That's going to be Imprisoned in the Moon. I think we end up doing that. So let's go for, let's see how we're setting this up. So let's go for Ancient Tomb. Let's tap down. That'll be black and blue. Because we don't necessarily need to go for Doomwake Giant just yet. Because if we go for Frogify, that'll stop the Cascade. That'll force them to go for Void Winnower. And that'll put us on Imprisoned in the Moon. And then we have more Enchantress pieces to go for. I guess the big thing that we're trying to do is, do we want to set up Enchantress Presence first to get the card advantage going? And I think we do want to do that. So it's going to be 1, 2 off of Ancient Tomb. Let's get down Enchantress Presence going. That's going to be a life gain and a life loss for our opponent. There we go. So we'll get that down. Can't be countered. And then we put ourselves in a spot with Destiny Spinner to where we might be able to get some pretty gnarly stuff going. So let's tap down Bojuka Bog. That's going to be adding an additional blue. So let's go Frogify onto, yeah, there we go. So there'll be additional card draw with Enchantress Presence. Drawn to the Gitrog monster. Look at that. We've got the entire frog crew here. Frogify. And that is pretty sweet, going for Frogify and then drawing in the Gitrog off of Enchantress Presence. That's some good stuff right there. Let's go and drop in Mystic. That'll be an additional one. Additional card draw. And see if we hit the land for the turn. If not, then I'm totally happy with what's going on right now. We get down Mystic, and then let's go ahead and push in with the crew. I think that sounds like a pretty good plan. So we've got 3, that's going to be 6. We got 8 coming across. That'll drop them down to 18. And then, all right, so we're going to see our opponent's commander block. If they want to go for an additional Cascade, they certainly can. And we'll have Imprisoned in the Moon to stop whatever's going on over there. All right, so we're swinging across. It's going to drop down to 24. And then anything else for 1? No, we're simply just going to go ahead and pass the turn over. to our opponent. But yeah, this is what we want to get going. I don't know if we're going to get down Gitrog just yet, because we would like to have a lot of extra lands if we're going to be doing that. And so, but we can at least go for Grolnok. And one of the nice things about building Tatsunari Enchantress is that you end up getting a lot of, you know, you can use a lot of the stuff like Doomwake Giant, Boon Satyr, and Dryad of the Grove. And these are all enchantment creatures, so you can push that Enchantress card draw package that you're going for, and it just really helps. Let's see what this is. This is going to be Eternal Witness on probably Tatyova, I bet. Yep, that sounds like a good play. But yeah, you know, it's just good stuff like this. Like, to me, even if we lose, somehow if they get Void Wind around, if they get all the Eldrazi out there, this is it. We got the Enchantress card draw engine going, and this is a lot of fun. So, all right, so it's going to be Tatyova. They make the land drop, they draw a card, and they gain a life. We do have Imprison in the Moon, and we still have Doomwake Giant to get outside of Void Winnower, but we'd have to get down 9 enchantments in one turn with Void Winnower to take care of that. But we might end up going for Doomwake Giant. I think I kind of like doing that. If we can just get a couple more land drops. So we got the cumulative upkeep. I think what we'll end up doing with the cumulative upkeep, that's going to be Snake Umbra. So we have to pay for 1. And I just, so we need to hit a land drop. Do we really want to keep it out there? I think we're actually okay with letting Mystic go, because we're just, unfortunately, a little strapped on mana right now. So we're going to let that go, draw to Bloodstained Mire, and then we go to our main phase. So let's go for, if we do end up going for Doomwake Giant, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can only get down 1 more enchantment. So it's not really going to wipe the board out, but it would be nice to have Doomwake Giant on the battlefield and still maintain that. So let's go for Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, I do like that. And so we're going to end up going for a Doomwake Giant. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll add blue to that. Why not? Tap down for 1 more blue. Alright, so that's going to be Enchantress Presence. So if we get a card draw for this, not if we get, but if we hit a land that we can play off of Enchantress Presence, and we'll see what that is. So we're going to get the enchantment card. There we go. Run into another land. So it's going to be Wooded Foothills. We'll get down Doomwake Giant. And that's going to be -X. That's going to take care of Eternal Witness. And then we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of, and let's see. So we can flash in Boon Satyr if we wanted to and just kind of hold that up. Or we've got Snake Umbra. And we get an additional card draw. So let's go and put that onto Tatsunari. I think I kind of like that. Give ourselves Totem Armor. So let's do that. So let's go and crack Bloodstained Mire. Let's go and grab ourselves Bayou. Yeah, because we're only looking at 1 blue mana source. Let's go for Snake Umbra onto Tatsunari. That'll be an additional drain on our opponent. Let's get the Akimi, let's get the Enchantress Presence card draw going, draw into another land. And once we go for Dryad next turn, we played it. Yeah, so we can actually get an additional land drop going. All right, so we drop them down to 1/1. Let's go and swing in the entire crew. So we're looking at 4/4, 2/3, and a 3/3 coming across, and we might be able to kind of grind it out next turn. So it's going to drop into 14, get an additional card draw, run into Urborg, and then anything else, we will pass the turn. So if I don't see, and actually I think at this, well, with Gitrog and land drops, that's pretty good. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think what we'll end up dropping is probably I think Grolnok at this point, because if we do end up going for, so whenever a frog attacks, we can get that mill going with Grolnok. So I actually do kind of like that. So let's actually just go and drop Urborg for right now. So we'll drop Urborg. That'll go into the graveyard, because everything else we're actually set up pretty well. So we'll see what our opponent kind of rolls out for the turn. If it is that Void Winnower, we still have Imprison in the Moon, and I would actually be A-okay with Void Winnower, mainly because that would be their entire turn, and then we can try to set stuff up on our side of the battlefield, because that would be Void Winnower, and then that would basically just kind of be Tatyova. And so I kind of do like that. And then with Doomwake Giant, at least next turn, if we can kind of get down on, you know, Prison in the Moon, Boon Satyr, Dryad, that'll be 3 enchantments. That'll take care of Tatyova, and then if we get rid of Imprison in the Moon, that should be a free swing in on our opponent, because that'll be 6. And then that'll be a 9. And then that'll be 13. If we get some enchantments times 3, yeah, I think we'll be able to get it. So we'll see what they roll out. Other than just something like Cyclonic Rift, sending everything back to the hand, we should be in a pretty good spot. So let's see. All right, so that will end up being Void Winnower onto the battlefield. They've only got 1 more mana left, and that is simply just an 11/9. So we're not scared of a Void Winnower. I do like this. So let's see what we draw into, but I think we've got it on this one. That makes me pretty happy. So let's go card draw. That's going to be Eutropia and then Fabled Passage. Let's go for Imprison in the Mood on Void Winnower. That's going to be blue and then 2 off of Ancient Tomb. There we go. Let's get the Kimi trigger on the stack. Let's get the Enchantress Presence. So it's going to be Imprison in the Moon. We're going to send Void Winnower over to the moon and get rid of that. There we go. Bye-bye, Void Winnower. And that's going to be -3 for Tatyova. Let's go for Dryad. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. And with Bajuka Bog, we'll tap down for an extra green source. And then we'll tap down on black. And so that's going to be an extra Kimi trigger. Let's drop down to 13. Enchantress Presence. That's going to be Dryad entering the battlefield. It's going to make them do that. Okay. And we go for Wooded Foothills for the land drop. We go for Catacombs for the land drop. Then we go for Boon Satyr, because that is an enchantment. That's going to be green. Then we'll tap down for 1 black. And then get the Kimi trigger going. This will be Enchantress Presence. Get the Kimi trigger, run into Heroic Intervention, which is nice. So we'll go for Boon Satyr. That's going to drop Tatyova. Oh, look at that. Their opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. So we've got the combat damage just going to be 4. That's going to be 6. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 13. That's going to be just enough to take care of him. So good game to our opponent on that one. We got the Enchantress card draw going. That's what matters. We got the engine going. This is pretty much what you're trying to do with Tatyova, or not Tatyova, but with Tatsunari. Is we've got almost 50 enchantments in here with a bunch of frogs, but you can see once you get the Enchantress card draw piece going and something along the lines of Do Make Giant, and just knowing that our opponent drew into Void Winnower, holding on to some spot removal or some enchantment removal for Void Winnower, we'll take it. So anyway, good game, and if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.